Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we are off to Bordeaux with a very early start, but first some holiday prep. I am doing some holiday prep today and we are off to go get the nails done. They've grown out quite a bit and I think we're going to go for a tortoiseshell design of some sort. We have got the nails done. You can probably see there's been a downpour whilst I've been in there, but tortoiseshell, loving these, fantastic. Now ready to go pack. We are in Bordeaux. We have made it to the hotel after a very early start this morning. We were up and at 'em at about 4:45 this morning and really seamless. Got an Uber to the airport, flight was on time, it was great, although we did have to sit on the tarmac for a little bit, but we still arrived at the correct time, I think. And then from the airport to our hotel in Bordeaux, it was either a taxi, which was about 15 minutes, or a bus journey, which was an hour. So we did pay for the taxi. It was about €20 and we made it to the hotel. It's very nice. It's on the small side and unfortunately we are next to the gym, so we're just going to see how it goes, see if it's a bit noisy or if it's okay. And there is a pool, we believe, on the 4th floor, but we've yet to discover it because there were some thunderstorms earlier. We didn't actually hear any thunder or see any lightning. I think they were before we arrived, but we did get caught up in a downpour. We went out for some brunch, we got crepes, it was very nice, and we are going to go and explore the area for some dinner this evening. So that's kind of it for the first day, and I will catch you tomorrow when we are doing a little bit more around Bordeaux. So that was actually a massive lie because we ended up doing a lot more on the first day than what we'd originally planned. So like I said, we landed very early in the morning and went for crepes, and then after that we went to the shopping centre that was just around the corner from there, and they had a huge Primark, lots of other shops that we have here in the UK, but then they also had some shops that we used to have in the UK, like Etam, if anyone remembers Etam and Tammy Girl, love them. But yeah, so we just had a little bit of a stroll around the shopping centre, and then after that we went back to the hotel because our check-in wasn't until 3 o'clock, so it was still quite early at this point, but we were very tired because we'd had to get up so early. We had lots of time to explore, but it actually would have worked out better had we been able to get into the room a little bit earlier because we were so tired walking around the shopping centre. I think we'd had enough energy to get there, but then by the time we were actually there, we weren't up for shopping, if that makes any sense. So then we decided to wander on back to the hotel and have our first glass of Bordeaux wine before getting into our room. And then when we finally did get into our room, we had a 2-hour nap. We both just completely fell asleep, and then we decided instead of chilling at the hotel, because we'd already done that today, we would head out into Bordeaux. Before heading out on holiday, I had done my research, of course, and I knew that we had to get a travel app, the TBM travel app, for whilst we were there. We decided on getting the 7-day pass. Even though we weren't there for 7 days, it actually worked out better to do that than it did to get individual journeys, or you could get these tickets that did so many journeys, but we knew across the 6 days that we would need more than, I think the most was 10 journeys, I can't quite remember. But it was called TBM, just downloaded it onto your phone, bought the tickets through your phone, and then when you got on the tram, or you can also use it on the boat and the buses, which we did, you validated them, and they're very obvious, the validation points. So when we made it into the centre of Bordeaux, we got off at the Concon stop, and we first were greeted by this ginormous fountain, and then we headed on up to this giant head statue which had different levels of 3D-ness, which is definitely not a word, depending on which angle you looked at it. And then we headed down the Rue Sainte-Catherine street, which is one of the longest shopping streets, and it's about 1.2 kilometres. Then we were very hungry by this point, so we went to a restaurant. My mum got a coconut curry and I got a brioche sandwich thing, and they are obviously in France known for brioche, and it was lovely. But I did have a little bit of regret that I didn't get the curry, and then we decided just to wander a little bit more before heading home, and we came across one of the points of interest I actually had on the list for later on in the trip. We are at one of the famous palaces in Bordeaux. I'm probably going to murder the pronunciation, Palace de la Bourse, and it is the one with the giant water feature in that has the mirror effect. I will take you over there. So the art installation is this over here, and it creates a mirror effect of the buildings that are just behind me. I'll take you round. There's lots of doggies in Bordeaux. It seems quite doggy friendly actually. Oh, look at this little cutie. There we go. Some very well behaved dogs as well. I have to show my dog how they behave in Bordeaux. So I don't know if I'm hoping this is going to pick up on the camera. There is a mirrored effect of the palace. My mum's saying it's very good. It is very good. It's quite recent as well, I'm pretty sure. Also, it's a great place, I think, for kids to run around and enjoy and cool off. But yes, it's very cool. I think at night it's all lit up, but I'm not sure. We'd have to come back. Mum is getting very irate. There's a bus in her picture. There's a huge Ferris wheel down there and a massive fountain with horses that are spraying water out of their nostrils. And we have the mirror effect behind me, and then this way, more water. And we're just debating whether this is a river or an inlet from the sea. We should look it up. We've just realised the mists have come on. Wowee! We've had a look on Google Maps and we think it does come from the sea, but possibly by the time it reaches here, it's a river. If anyone with water knowledge of Bordeaux knows, pop it in the comments. We are just wandering along now alongside the mirror effect, and we are working our way back to the tram. We are back for the evening. We've had some lovely dinner and we had a little bit of a wander around Bordeaux. Saw a couple of things that we wanted to see, and we took the tram back to the hotel, and I think we're already getting used to the tram. It seems really quite simple. We've already got a 7-day ticket which you just validate when you get on the tram. Some stops also have validation sites as well, so we've just been using that, and I think we're going to rest our little heads now because we're very tired. So I will see you tomorrow. Welcome back to day 2 in Bordeaux. We are off on a little cultural history walk around Bordeaux. Hopefully the messy room in the background isn't showing too much, but this is the outfit of the day. We're going for a little sort of camisole silk satin thing which ChatGPT suggested, and a skirt from Zara, and I've just got some little sandals from Timberland on as well, chunky ones, but I'm not going to show you my feet because that'd be a bit weird. And I am off now. I'm just got a little brown bag with me that I need to find. Actually, I packed it over there. Unfortunately my umbrella does not fit in the bag, so it doesn't have carrier and I will probably lose it, but off we go. We're at the tram stop. I found my little bag that I've been using today, and we are off back into the centre of Bordeaux. The trams are quite easy. We just downloaded an app, TBM, and we've got a 7-day pass. We are only here for 6 days, but it kind of worked out better for us to get the 7-day pass than it did to buy individual journeys. So we are off into Bordeaux, and we're also going to try a rotisserie chicken restaurant as well today if we can get in. Hopefully not to be accused, as we did see a restaurant last night with a queue that literally was out the door and down the road, so we won't be going if it's like that. But other than that, we have no real plan. Just going to wander around, taking the sights and see how we go. We have got the tram to Concon's, again, excuse my pronunciation, and this wonderful fountain in the background with horses snorting water out of their nostrils. Very impressive. I'll give you a full look. Here we go. It is very, very tall. And they have a similar statue with snorting horses on the other side. And then if I turn around over here, there's a Ferris wheel. And this is where we've got the tram to, and you get a lot of trams this spot. It seems to be quite a big changeover spot. And up there you go into Bordeaux. We are having lunch at Rotisserie Poulet, and I realised I've not brought my microphone with me, so I'm hoping it's picking up, but yes, here we go. When you see things on TikTok, there's obviously the worry that it's just some viral hype, but this was worth the hype. It was so good. I think it definitely topped our foods quite early on, although we did have one meal that topped this. But I'll leave that for a surprise later. But I had the baguette and my mum had the wrap, and it was just so nice. The chicken was done really well. Mine was kind of like a pulled chicken from the rotisserie, and it had a lovely sauce on, whereas my mum's was a breaded chicken. Both equally as nice. I got little new or roasted small potatoes, and it came with a dip. Oh, it was lovely. Just thinking back to it, I wish I could have it again now. After dinner, we carried on down Rue Sainte-Catherine, and we ended up at this archway. There was also a giant tortoise statue as well that has little people riding on it, which was interesting. We decided that we'd have a little explore of this area because we had tickets for a museum later on in the day, and we just happened across a market, Marché des Capucines, and it was lovely in there. It was very busy, very vibrant, and it sold a lot of food and drinks. There was fresh produce, fish, meat, and there were also stalls where you could sit down and have a whole meal if you wanted to. And then there were restaurants that were dotted on the outside as well, just around the market area. We decided to stop just for a quick juice, and we also did get some little sweet treats as well from the markets. And then after the markets, which I would definitely recommend a visit, it wasn't actually on my list, we just happened to have it, but since looking at it, really popular. I mean, you can tell it was very busy there, but definitely would recommend. We then headed on over to our museum, and I pre-booked the tickets for this. This is Porte Cailhau, and I really struggle with the pronunciation of this. I listened in when the museum staff were talking, and there were lots of information points where they repeated it, but I just really struggle with this, so I'm very sorry about the pronunciation there. And do you know what, actually, I since looked into it, and the word, no one knows what it even means. So do you know what? There we go. Apparently historians have theories, but they don't know. But so you go around the museum, you can pre-book. I mean, you don't have to pre-book, and it offers a really good view of Bordeaux as well. The monument was actually built to commemorate Charles VIII's victory in Italy, and that was King Charles. And the actual museum as it stands today tells lots of history from different viewpoints of different people, and it's just a really nice little museum. It was very quiet when we went, and like I said, I don't think there's a need to pre-book, but you can do, and that's what we did. If you are afraid of heights, not a place to come. Don't know why I'm here. Dotted around the museum are these little talking pictures, and they've got them in multiple languages, and I have since learned it is Porte Cailhau, that's how you pronounce it. Probably still murdering it, but a little bit closer to what it should be like. We have made it to the very top, and I have to say my legs are feeling very funny right now, so I'll show you a brief little look around before I get on back down to solid ground. Got a view of Bordeaux there. There's loads of information cards all the way around. This top bit here. Oh, clomp, clomp, clomp. Here we go. We have wandered around, we've seen the big bridge that crosses the river, and now we are going to have a little glass of wine. It's lovely around here. There's a few little local wine bars, and we're going to have a white wine from Bordeaux. We're at the Saint Andre Cathedral, and the weather has very much changed. We were commenting how boiling hot it was earlier, and now it is windy and rainy. And there's a tower behind us. Yes, we're going to try and get in here now. When we grabbed a quick bite to eat, we noticed it seems to be a thing to get syrups and lemonade, and I got the mint. Would not recommend. It's like drinking mouthwash. It's not like a mojito mint, it's mouthwash mint. We've made it back to the hotel room. I believe we've done over 15,000 steps today, so not bad going. We finished off with a glass of wine at a bar called Zinc. I had a rosé, it was very nice, and it was definitely in the best wine glass so far. All the wine glasses we've had before this have been a little thick, and this was a thin wine glass, and I like a thin wine glass. So we're back at the hotel. We're going to try some sweet treats now. So we've got some canals, another pronunciation that I believe I have murdered. So yeah, we've got some canals, and we got those from the market, and it was quite funny actually because we were walking past a different store afterwards, and they had mini versions of them, and I pointed at them, and the person that had just sold us our ones went, "Mine are much better quality." So that's quite funny, it made us laugh. And then we have some macarons from Paul's and a little chocolate cake and some brioche as well. And there was a man in a shop that thought I had stolen the brioche from his shop, but no, I had bought it from another shop. So that was a bit of a weird situation, but we are back now, not been arrested over brioche, which is great. That's what you want from your holiday. And we're going to try some sweet treats, and then we're going to go to bed, and we will see what tomorrow holds. Bye for now. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, do what you gotta do, and I will see you in the next one.